Good evening, everyone. I'm audible.
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Once again, good evening, my dear friends. I welcome you all for this structural training on ETAP demo session. Pro training. So participants, please mute your mic so that we can able to start our session for today. So this session is all about the basic structural training on ETAPs, which is very much useful for analyze, design, and detailing of a structure. ETAPS. The name ETAPS stands for Extended Three-Dimensional Analysis of Building System. So nowadays, analysis and design part is very much done, very much useful, very much they are using these software, that is particularly ETAP software in the design industry while compared to some other softwares. Why? Because from the design result, I personally conclude that ETAPs provide lesser area of steel as compared to Star Pro and Tekla struts. And also, it is found that ETAPs give more precise and accurate result as compared to those two software, even though manual calculation of design go in favor of ETAPs. Okay, so this is all about the simple basic introduction about ETAPs. So for this session today, what we are going to do is a commercial building, which is G+2 story structure, RCC, as shown in the screen. So as you can see that this is an AutoCAD file. You can able to see the ground floor, first floor, as well as the terrace floor. Okay, so we have the ground floor, first floor, and the terrace floor right here. So this is a type of a commercial building, that is a car showroom. Okay, so let me show you this. See this. This is the ground floor column and beam layout. So I'm just directly going into the column and beam layout because due to the time constraint, we are going to model. I can able to show you how ETAP is working. Okay, so in our upcoming session, we are going to learn in detail about everything. Everything. It means the basic process. I mean the scratch to pro. Okay, in ETAPs, you can able to learn from the scratch to pro. So Sushant Kumar, please turn your mic off. Okay, so you can see that. So participant, please turn off your mic. So this is the ground floor, first floor, as well as the terrace floor. Okay, so this is the grid drawing as well as the beam column layout, as you can see here. Basically, if we have a plan, a line plan means we need, first of all, we need to finalize about the structural elements, that is beam, column, and slab. What is the dimension of those elements as per the IS codal provision? We supposed to use IS 456, IS 13920, IS 1893, and some other codes for this preliminary sizing of the building. Okay, so by using that kind of Indian standard codes, we can easily able to size our structure before getting a analysis result. Okay, before entering into the ETAPs. So like that, I already finalized the beam size, column size, as well as the thickness of the slab to the structure. So right here, we are directly getting into ETABS and going to model the structure. Okay, so this is the ground floor. You can able to see that this is a grid. This is the axis. This is the Y grid, and this is an X grid. As X grid represents A, B, C, D up to G, and Y grid, we have a grid data as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As I have written, this is the way the ETABS will generate the grids and naming. So we can see that totally we have 11 column. It is starting from C1, it is a square column, and C2. Okay, so this is the longest span. You can able to see this is actually 15-meter long. Okay, the span between the two column is 15-meter long, and it having another column C3. The span between C1 and C3 is 9-meter long. Okay, so it is a commercial building, so it is a car showroom. We can, so in order to that, we are avoiding the intermediate columns right over here. Okay, so see right here, C3, C4, C5, 6, C7, C8, C9, C10, and C11 is the column name. Okay, in ETABS, it is also named as label. Okay, label for columns. And you can see here the beam B1, B2, B3, B4. These are the labels for the beams. Is I'm audible? Someone is texting that I'm can't able to hear like that. Yeah, thank you. So this is the first floor, as well as this is the terrace floor. Okay, so this is a complicated structure. We don't know how, because this is a span of 15-meter. We don't know in a normal apartment or in a normal residential building, the maximum span between those two columns is up to 4 to 5 meters. Is the maximum. In residential building, we also do the maximum of 4 to 5 meters. So right here, it is 15-meter span between these two columns. Okay, so this is a little complicated one to analyze. Okay, we need to fix the sizing of the beam as well as the column properly in order to get the proper result. Okay, so by using these values, I'm just getting into ETABS, and also in our future session, you will also learn the manual calculation. See, you can see this. This is the way we will calculate the loads on the foundation by using tributary area method. Okay, in your curriculum in your college as well as in your work area, if you calculate the manual, if you calculate the building, if you analyze the building manually, means you use there are various methods for analyzing moment distribution method, slope deflection method. So many methods are available to calculate it manually. Okay, this is also the one of the approximation method to calculate the load. This is nothing but tributary area method. By using this method, we can able to find out the loads on the foundation. What are the load which is transferred from slab to beam and the beam to column and column to foundation. By using this method, we can able to find out the final load which is transferred to the foundation. By using this value, we can model our structure in ETABS, and also we can cross verify these two values between the manual calculation as well as the ETABS, so that we can know how the value, how the result very precise with the manual result. Okay, so these tributary area method you can able to learn in our future session. So right now, what we are going to do is we are switching into ETABS and starting our model. Okay, so for this model purpose, I'm just opened the ETABS 17 version. I'm just using ETABS 17 version. You can download the software from CSI America. You can go search it on Google, CSI America. While you are entering into the website, you can download it, a student version in your system. Okay. So this is the home page. When you open your eTab, this is the home page. What we are going to do here, we are going to create a new model. Okay. In order to that, go to File. Option, it shows a new model. The shortcut for creating a new model is Ctrl+N. So I'm just selected to create a new model. Yeah. The model initialization dialog box will appear right here. Here, you need to choose which unit system you are going to follow, as well as which standard you are going to follow. We need to input it to the eTabs, so that I'm just choosing use built-in settings with. So here, use built-in settings with. Under this display unit, you need to choose metric SI. By default, it will be available as US customary. If you open the eTabs very first time, it will be defaultly available as US customary because it is a US based software. So we need to choose metric SI. The metric SI, the unit will be meter, the meter, and the load will be in kilonewton. Okay. By clicking this info icon, you can see that the unit labels. Okay. So, and next one is steel section database. So here there are various codes, various data standard in countries database is available, like Russian, Chinese, European, American, like that. Okay, here we are going to use Indian. And the third one is, so we already know for steel design, we always prefer IS 800-2007. It is an Indian standard code. And for concrete, we are going to choose IS 456-2000. IS 456-2000 and click OK. So after you are updating your standard database, the new model quick template dialog box will appear. So this is an important step. Here you're going to perform, you're going to create a grid system into eTabs. By using, so see, in an AutoCAD model, these are the grid from A to G. These are the grids. This is the X grid data, and these are the Y grid data. From starting from 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the Y grid, and this is the X grid. A, B, C, D up to G is X grid data. So we are going to create those data in eTabs. So here we can able to create these grid by two methods. One is uniform grid spacing and another one is custom grid spacing. So as in the name, we know that the uniform grid spacing, the grid will be created uniformly. If we have 10 grids in X direction, each grid will have an uniform spacing, only the uniform spacing. If your project is like that, you can easily choose this uniform grid spacing. See, number of grid in X direction. First of all, we need to give the numbers in X and the numbers in Y, and the spacing of grids in X direction. What is the spacing between the grids in Y direction? So right here, we can't able to do this because we are not even having an even grids. See, 1 is 2, 3 like this. So these are a non-uniform. It is not a uniform grid. For that, we are choosing custom grid spacing. Okay. So here in custom grid spacing, you just simply click edit grid data. Edit. This is the grid data system. So here you just choose display grid data as spacing by replacing this from grid data as ordinate. Because why we are choosing this option? Because we are going to input the values in meters. That is nothing but that is a space between two grids. So that we choose display grid data as spacing. So see, this is under X grid data, it shows the grid ID is A, B, C, D like that. Under Y grid data, it's showing the grid ID as 1, 2, 3, 4. We can create n number of data by clicking by choosing the option add. See, I'm just clicking the button add. the E grid is added. Again, F and G. Okay, we can create an n number of data by using these two options. So as per our AutoCAD drawing, we need up to the grid from A to G. The spacing is A to B is 2 meter, and then B to C, D to E, and E to F to G is 3 meters each. So I'm just inputting it A to B. In A value, you need to give the value, you need to give the spacing between A to B. Okay. So as per our drawing, the spacing between A to B is 2 meter. So enter. Again, B to C 3 meter. While I'm giving these values in these grid data, you can able to see at the top there is a small window. It shows the actual grid, a prototype. Okay. So see again 3 meter. Enter 3 meter. So everything is 3 meter up to G. So finally the G is 0. Okay. And then Y grid data. For the Y grid data, 1 to 2 is 3 meter, 2 to 3 is 9 meter, and 3 to 4 is 6 meter. So we are inputting it 3 meter, 9 meter, and 6 meter. And finally it is 0. Okay. We created our grid data successfully. Now click on OK. Okay. We just completed our grid data. The next important thing in this dialog box is story dimension. You can see right here in your right hand side, the story dimension. So as well as in the grid system, the first option, which is a equal story dimension. So this is simple story data. If we have a G+3 story structure, the each story carries an equal height, then we can able to choose this option. Or otherwise, if the first below ground level, I mean the foundation to the ground level is 1 point, I mean the 1 meter, and the first floor is 5 meter, and the second floor is 3 meter. So that if the height of the building varies from floor to floor, you need to choose custom story data. So in our structure, the height, the depth of the foundation up to ground level is 1.2 meter. The ground floor height is 5.4 meter, and the first floor height is 3.6 meter. So we can't able to choose the simple story data, so that we are choosing custom story data right here. So choose the option custom story data and choose the option edit story data again. So now it shows a total number of from base to 4 story, but we are not in need of 4 story. So I'm just selecting that story number 4 and right clicking and deleting that story, delete existing structure at story. Okay, this is base. Base is nothing but below ground level, the level of foundation, that is 0. Okay, the level of where we construct our footing. Okay, so this is the ground level or ground floor. I just naming at GF. Ground floor. Just don't confuse with ground. I mean ground floor and first floor. I'm just mentioning about the floor level. Okay, not the roof level. Okay, ground floor level. And then the story number 2 is first floor level. Okay, and the third one is terrace floor. Okay, terrace floor. So as I said, the depth of the foundation up to ground floor is 1.2 meter. Okay. So see, I'm just entering 1.2 meter, and the first floor is 5.4 meter. Again, the second floor is 3.6 meter. Okay. So as someone is asked in our chat box, for design of G+30 structure, ETABS is better than StartPro, like that. Okay. So as I said earlier, ETABS is always better than an RC structure. As I said, ETAP will provide lesser area of steel. Okay, in design of an RC structure, we mainly focusing upon the area of steel. Okay, so ETAPs will give the result by providing lesser area of steel while compared with the StatPro as well as the other software called as TechLuster. So I will recommend my personal experience in my project in our industry. We are always using the ETAPs for an RC building, and not only for G+30 structures. Okay, so now click OK. So now we completed our template, that is grid data and the story data. Now click OK. Yeah. So this is our working window. It appears totally 3 windows. You can able to see there is 3 windows. The first one is Model Explorer. Okay. So here we can see that the shortcut of a project, the structural layout, the load, you can use this option or otherwise the pull down menu at the top. So in our session, we are always use these because there is so many shortcut icons right here. We always use those shortcut icons, the quick access icon always. Okay, we always avoid this Model Explorer in order to using these icons. And the second window, it shows at the top, you can able to see that it is a plan view. Okay, so here it shows the plan view of our grid. Okay, and the third window, it shows the name, it's named as 3D view. Okay, so it is a 3D view of our grid right now because we not even created any model. So this is 3D view of our grid, and this is a plan view of our grid. And also we can create a multi windows by choosing this option. See, at the top, there is one option, a down arrow right here, add new window like that. So see, it is a plan, again 3D, here also 3D. By using this option, we can able to create multiple windows for our project. And also we can switch between views. At the top, in the quick access icon, you can see that 3D, plan, and elevation. If I am clicking this window and go and choose the option 3D, means this window will be transferred to a 3D window. Okay. Yes, this in I want to change the 3D window into elevation, means I just choose the 3D window, just click on your mouse right here in 3D view and go to ELEV, that is elevation. So it shows the different elevation based upon the grid. You may know that the grid A to G is an X grid data and 1 to 4 is Y grid data. Okay. If you want to see the elevation, you can able to see this elevation window also. Okay. And for plan view, you can click the plan. See, you can see the terrace floor, first floor, ground floor, and base. So now I'm choosing the first floor. So you can see plan view FF. FF is nothing but we are available in first floor. Okay. If you want to create a beam, particularly in first floor, a slab, particularly in first floor, you can choose this plan view and you can be able to create a structural element right over here. Okay. If you want from first floor to ground floor, means the easy method is, see at the top, there is an arrow, up arrow and a down arrow. If you click the arrow up, means it will move from one floor to another floor in upward direction. If you click the down arrow, means it switch one floor to another floor in downward direction. See, right now we are available in FF, that is nothing but a first floor. I'm just clicking this up arrow. Now it moves into a terrace floor, that is Z is equal to 10.2 meter from the base. Okay. So these are all the working window. Okay, after we created our grid, we created our story data. We just know about this plan view, 3D view, and the model explorer, as well as some quick access icons. Okay, so the next thing we are supposed to do is we need to define materials. Before creating a model, we need to define the materials. In order to define the materials, you need to choose the option define. See, under the define, there is an option called material property. I said we are going to define the materials. So I'm just choosing the material properties right over here. It will show in another dialog box that is called as define materials. As we know, this is a software based upon US. So there is a default material, US standard material. Okay, these are the materials. It is based upon US standard, and that is the 400 PSI is nothing but a concrete, and the A615GR60 is a steel, but we are not going to use this. We are going to create a new material as per our Indian standard. Okay, so that click add a new material right here. So here choose the region first as India, and material type is concrete, and the standard is Indian, and the grade of concrete is M25. Now click on OK. The dialog box of the material property for M25 grade, the default values will be appear right here. If you are having any experimental data for the grade of concrete, by you are having your testing with the compression test of the a cube or a cylinder. Okay, if you're having the data, means you can able to input the data right over here. Okay, or otherwise simply give OK as it is. And again, now we created M25 grade concrete, and another one we need to create a steel grade. Okay, so I'm clicking add new material. The region is India, and the material type is not steel. We need to choose rebar. Here the name steel refers to a structural steel. Okay, it is not a reinforcing steel. For reinforcing steel, we need to choose rebar. Rebar, that is nothing but reinforcement bars. It is a shortcut. Okay, reinforcement bar. Here it is named as rebar. I'm just choosing this rebar, and the grade here I choose HYSD 500. We have the maximum grade of HYSD 550. Or otherwise, no, in the value in the market, I'm just choosing HYSD 600 like that. Steel means how can I do that? Means simply and the data here, material property data, you can input your data for HVSD 600 like that. Okay, you can able to see in design property data. So in the design property data, you can input your data by testing. For the steel, we use the tensile strength by using universal testing machine. So here the minimum yield strength we can input if you have any data with you, or otherwise simply click on OK. Yeah. So now we created M25 grade concrete and FE HOSD 500 grade steel. Click on OK. So we successfully created our material properties. What we are going to do now, the next is section property. This is the important thing right here, because the section we need to define. What is the size of the beam? What is the size of the column? What will be the size of your slab, thickness of your slab, like that. Okay. So in order to create that, go to section define section property frame section. Okay, frame section. Here the American standard sections is available by default, but we are going to create a new property. So that add a new property right here and choose concrete rectangular. So in the property name, I'm just adding the beam that is 300 by 600. Okay, under the data material, you just choose M25 because we already inputted the value M25, created that. So choose the value M25 and keep, and then as it is, keep the values as it is for the rest data. And finally, section dimensions. This is the important one. And in the property name, we just inputted the name of the beam. We not even created the beam size is 300 by 600. That is nothing but a name. In order to create the section with the accurate value, you need to change the section dimensions. That is 600 by 300 by 600. Okay, so this is a beam. So we need to input, we need to tell to ETABS this is a beam. Okay, because under the frame option, we can be able to create beam as well as column. Okay, by using the same option. The same option will be followed for column as well as the beam, but we need to tell this is a beam. So in order to tell that, go to modify or show rebar under reinforcement. You just click it. Here it will ask you what is the design type. P, M2, M3. P is an axial force. M2 and M3 is a biaxial moment. The axial force and biaxial moment is very much useful for design of column. We know that already, right? And this is M3. M3 is nothing but the maximum moment. The moment we will be used, that will be used for designing of beams. We not even need of any axial forces for design of beam. Okay, so this is a beam. So I'm just choosing M3 design only. Okay. And for the rebar material, we need to choose HYSD 500. We already created in the material property option. Okay, and give OK. Again, OK. See, beam 300 by 600 is created. Again, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to create another property that is for column, so that I'm going to add a new property. Again, concrete. So column 300 by 450. The material is what we done in the creating a beam. The similar option will be followed right here. So this is 450. And here we choose 300. We not even done any preliminary sizing. Okay, these values we are giving based upon the assumptions. Okay, but once we done the preliminary sizing as per the codal provision, means we are very confident with our section dimensions. And modify or show rebar, this is a column property, so that we need to tell this is a column. So by default, the option is selected as P, M2, M3 design for column. You just choose longitudinal box as HYSD 500 and confinement box as HYSD 500 and give OK. Again, OK. So as per, you can see that in this drawing, this is a square column, and here we have a rectangular column, and here we have a rectangular column. The columns are various cross sections. Okay, but due to time constraint, I'm just creating a single column with the size of 300 by 450 mm cross section, and I'm just deleting the remaining the rest of properties. Okay. So now I created a single section for a beam as well as the column, and give OK. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a slab. After creating a frame, I'm going to create a section properties for slab. Go to define section property slab section. Add a new property. Need to name a slab. I'm going to prefer 120 mm thickness slab right here. So I'm just naming the slab as 120 mm. Slab material is M25. And at the bottom, the thickness should be 120. Okay, give OK. So I'm just deleting the unwanted data by choosing the delete property and give OK. Okay, so now we are situated at a terrace floor. Okay, I'm going to create a beam from the base to the terrace floor. I'm going to create a column from the base to the terrace. I'm going to create a beam. I'm going to create a slab. Okay, so that what we need to do at first is, we need to choose all story. At the bottom right, you can see that it is by default, it is available in one story. By choosing the one story, you can able to draw only at a single story. See, this is an option. Go to draw. I'm going to create a column right here. So I'm going to draw beam column brace. Here, quick draw column. This is an option will be used for draw a modeling a column, or otherwise there's a quick access icon available right here. See, a I section like symbol, quick draw column. By selecting this icon, at the bottom it shows the property. The property it shows B300 by 600 it is a beam property, but I'm going to create a column. So just choose beam 300 by 450. Now you can see in my cursor, it is showing the column. Wherever as per the drawing, you need to, you need a column means just go and click that grid. And also you can see that in a 3D view. See, wherever I'm clicking that cursor, the column is generating only to the terrace floor, not to the entire floor. Okay. So if you need to create a column to the entire floor means what you want to do is go to the option at the bottom right. Instead of one story, you can choose all story right here. Instead of one story, you choose all story. Again, now you can see that the column is created from, I will show in a 3D view. See the column, it will be from ground floor to the terrace floor. I mean from the base, not a ground floor, from the base, from the foundation to the terrace. Again here another column, here another column, but I need to, the orientation of the column is along this direction. See the orientation of the column towards the major axis, towards the grid B, not towards the grid 3. Okay. So in order to rotate, in order to give a proper orientation, in order to rotate the column, what you're going to do is click the column icon again. At the property dialog box at the bottom, you can see the option called angle degree. By default, the angle degree will be 0. You need to change it as 90. By clicking this 90, you can see that in the cursor, the column is turned towards this direction. Okay. Okay, give the column. So as per the plan, and this is a shortcut type, you can able to create your column. Okay. So yeah. Yes, someone is asking, sir, how we decide column or beam sizes? Yeah, as I said, right now I'm just creating a column and beam size purely based on assumption. But in practice, we are not going to assume these values. We need to do a preliminary sizing before creating a model in ETABS. The preliminary sizing, it is based upon an IS codal provision like IS 456, IS 800, IS 13920, IS 1893 for earthquake resistant design building. Okay. So due to time constraint, we can't able to cover that topic right here, but that is an important topic we need to do for each and every project. Okay. So it will be discussed in detail in our future session. Okay. So this is a demo session so that we are avoiding that because we can't, if we cover that, I need a 2 hours entirely because this is a very vast topic. So we will discuss in future sessions. Okay. So now we created our column. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a beam. So in order to create a beam, choose the option quick draw beam option. See right here, quick draw beam. Choose the property as B300 by 600. What I'm going to do, I'm going to create See, click and drag. If the beam, all the beam are in equal size, you simply do it. But in practice, you will not have a similar beam in our structure to to all the column, to main beam and secondary beam. We have a different size based upon the spanning. So we need to create a beam individually. But here I'm just creating a single structure. Okay, right here. See, in 3D you can see that the beam and column is created. Okay, so right now what I'm going to do, now I'm going to do what I'm going to do is creating slab. For creating slabs, I'm going to choose the option called quick draw floor. See, quick draw floor. So under property, we are choosing slab 120 mm. So now you can simply click the area where we need our slab. So we are already in all story option. You can see that. I'm going to a 2D model. So see, in 3D view, you can see that our slab. Okay. So I'm done with the modeling. I'm done with the modeling, but we need some corrections. We need to correct it because see, at the floor, at the foundation level, there are the slab. The slab is, we provided the slab. At the ground level, there is a slab, but we never need any slab at the foundation level as well as the ground level. We need to modify it, as well as we need to modify as per our requirement. So a ground floor, this is a base level. Switch to 1 story option. I'm just selecting those and deleting it. Simply delete, tap your delete button in your mouse and keyboard, and then this is the ground floor. At ground floor, we also, the slab is not required. We do a PCC work right over here at the floor level. So I just deleted it. Okay, and also I'm not in need of this projection. Okay, only the first floor level. I need the projection of these those beams, and also not in here also. I'm not in need of this. See, now you can see this in a 3D view by choosing view, show rendered view. So this is the rendered view of our structure. So we just created our ground floor. This is the ground floor. This is the first floor. This is the, basically it is a car showroom, so that we are not even created any a column between these two columns, because we just there will be some car or bike will be there, and we projected our slab for 3 meter span, because there will be some vehicle will be provided at the outer area also. So this is our structure. So we can able to create a staircase, be able to create a lift and the lift shaft by using the ETABS. Okay, so on some of the questions right here. How do we choose the rise from foundation? I'm not understand your question, but if you are asking that how we choose the depth of the foundation, the depth of the foundation is based upon the site condition. Okay, the depth of the foundation is purely based upon the site condition, and yeah, someone is asking again how we decided the size in the course, in our regular course. We will the basic thing we are going to discuss how to decide the size of the structural elements. It is not based upon the assumptions. It is purely based upon the IS codal provision. Okay, in our course we will cover. And someone is asking, can we design the foundation on ETABS. We can't able to design the foundation on ETABS, but we can able to analyze the foundation through ETABS, and we can design the foundation by using some Excel sheets or otherwise the SAFE 2016 softwares. Okay. So this is the structure. So as quick as possible, I'm going to analyze this by applying some basic loads. Can you analyze the bridge using ETABS? Yeah, you can analyze the RCC bridge. You can able to create it. You can easily do whatever you can. There is no restriction for RC structures as well as steel structure in ETABS. Then if you're creating a beam, then your complication, there will be some complication while comparing with the RC as well as steel structures. Okay. So without any further delay, I'm going to do the next step, that is applying the loads. Okay. So right here in our structure, I'm going to apply the live load as well as the floor finish load. I'm not even going to apply any dead load right here because the ETABS will automatically find the dead load of the member. Okay. For the slab, the dead load is nothing but I'm just talking about the self weight. The self weight of the slab, the self weight of the beam, the self weight of the column will be automatically calculated by the ETABS. Why? Because we just defined the material, that is concrete, and the steel, I mean rebar, and also we defined the section property. By using these data, the ETABS will automatically calculate the dead load. Whatever we need to give the input, if it calculated means we need to input the live load as well as above the floor. We are going to give some mortar screeding. That is nothing but a floor finish means we need to give the floor finish load as well as the live load. If we are constructing the wall above the beam means we need to give the also the wind load as well as the earthquake load. So right here, I'm going to give simply the live load as well as the floor finish load. So go to define and choose load pattern. Load pattern. By default, there are two loads are available. One is dead load as well as the live load. So what I'm going to give again, I'm adding the floor. I said I'm going to add the floor finish. SIDL is nothing but superimposed dead load. Whatever load other than the self weight we are adding into the structure as a dead load, I mean other than the self weight, we are going to name it as superimposed dead load, and the load type will not be dead, it will be a super dead. Okay. And add a new material, I mean add a new load and give okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm choosing as all story. Okay. I'm just selecting all those slab. I already choose all story option, so that right now I'm in a first floor. I just selected story option. It will automatically select the terrace floor as well as the ground. I mean, there is no slab at the ground floor, so it will automatically select the first floor as well as the terrace floor. So now I'm going to apply that. Go to assign. Under the shell load, choose uniform. So here at the load pattern, it is asking for the load pattern. So choose live load. Then it is asking for the load gravity. Okay, and you not even give any negative symbol or positive symbol right here. Simply give 4. I'm applying the 4 kilonewton per meter square. Future session, why we are taking the dead load 4, the live load is like this. I mean, everything is based upon the codal provision. IS 875 part 1 to part 5. The code books will provide the loading. The part 1 will provide the dead load, part 2 for live load, part 3 for wind load, and part 4 for combination. Snow load, and part 5 for special load combination. So I'm just applying this. See, the 4 will be applied for all the slab. Again, I need to select all those slab. In order to reduce the time, I'm going to choose, go to select. There is an option called get previous selection. Whatever we selected previously, it will be selected now also. So see all the slabs selected. I'm just choosing the load as SIDL, that is a floor finish load. I'm applying as 1 kilonewton per meter square. Apply. So right now the 1 and 4 which should be applied on the slab, you can able to see that by selecting this and right clicking on it, it will show the slab information. under the load, it will show the live load is 4 and the dead load is superimposed dead load is 1 is applied on the slab. Okay. So after applying the load, what we going to do? We need to choose the support condition. So in order to give the support condition, go to the base, select one story option, click your mouse and drag and select all the supports. Okay, see right here, all the support is selected. The support will be in a structure, the footing and the column, it will be integrated each other, so that we are going to give the support is fixed. It is not a pinned support or roller support right over here. If the beam and the column is joined together, then it will be called as fixed support. Okay, because there is a development length over the beam and the column, as well as the beam and the column and the foundation. If you are providing any development length, then it will be considered as a fixed support. Or otherwise, if you may know, if you may ask that, sir, the beam, the column and beam, if it will be connected each other, means it will be a fixed support. Then what will be the beam and beam connection? Okay, the main beam and the secondary beam is connecting at a point, means then it will be called as a simply supported or a hinged support. Okay, we will discuss this why and why we are calling that is fixed and this is a simply supported in detail in our future session. Okay, so now I'm going to apply the fixed support right over here. Going to assign joint restraints. See, we need to give a fixed support so that everything will be selected. We need to restrain the translation in X, translation in Y, translation in Z, as well as the rotation in X, Y, Z. Otherwise, these are the option. One, this is a fixed support. And finally, none support. Okay, none means we need, if we, in order to delete the support means just select the none. Okay, right now I'm going to choose a fixed support right here, apply it. Support is fixed. See, this is the symbol, the rectangular symbol, the symbol source, it is a fixed support. Okay, so now we're done with creating a model, a basic model, as well as we created our slab, as well as we applied the load, we created a load pattern, we have completed the support condition. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to analyze. Before analyze, I'm going to define some load combinations. So for defining the load combination, go to define. There is an option called load combination. Go to, you can add the combination by manually or otherwise automatically. You need to create an automatic load combination. You just simply click add default design combos. Different type of combos as per the codal provision, you just choose it previously. So now, right now I'm going to choose concrete frame design. Okay, and give okay. See, there are two design combos available. One is 1.5 dead load plus 1.5 dead load, and another one will be 1.5 dead load plus live load. Okay, this is the combination as per the codal provision. There are so many combinations which will be available based upon your loading condition. It will be elaborated, detailed, which is available in IS 456 as well as IS 1893 Part 4. IS will be discussed it later, and give okay right now. Now, for your better view, I'm just closing the plan view. Right now, we are in a 3D view. See, in a 3D view, after applying the load combination, we are directly going to analyze our model. So before analyze, I'm going to save this model. Go to File and Save As. So in order to perform the analysis, we need to save the model. So model 0. The model is saving right now. Okay. So what I'm going to do, analyze. For analyzing, go to Analyze. There is option run analysis F5. Otherwise, the shortcut is F5. Or otherwise, see right here, there is a play button. If you click the play button, means the analysis process will be done. Is working on it. Just wait. At the bottom, you can see 55%, 70%, 100%. Yeah, it's done. See, the analysis process is over. So this is the default deflected portion of your model. But in practice, in practice, you can't able to see this kind of deflection in a building. So this is an animated thing. It is based upon the scaling condition. Okay, so whatever thing we can able to see by by performing the analysis, we can see the reaction, we can see the bending moment, we can see the shear force. See, first of all, I'm going to see the bending moment. Okay, by clicking, going to display force stress. Right here, frame, pier, spandrel, link forces. Okay, so click on it, or otherwise the shortcut is F8. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click M33, that is moment 33. So you can see that the shear force and bending moment, but the values is not shown right here. In order to show the value in the dialog box, you can choose show values at controlling station on diagram. Apply it. So you can see the bending moment and shear force. So I'm just choosing this beam, a single beam. Okay. See, the one end is fixed. For fixed support, let me show you in an elevation view. You can easily see the hogging and sagging bending moment. See, this is the beam having the columns at two end means. What will say at the fixed support, we have a hogging bending moment. At another support, we have a hogging. At the center, we bending moment. But what we done, we just neglected. Why? Because see, so if it is a beam, this is a column, this is a column, it is a single beam. Okay, so this both end is fixed. Okay, but here this beam is connected with this beam, right? This secondary beam connected to the main beam. So the E tab by default it will take it as fixed support, but we need to instruct E tab. We need to give an input. This is not a fixed support. This is a simply supported thing. Okay, before analyzing, you need to give. So that the name which will be used for applying the fixed, converting the fixed into simply supported is the assigned frame, that is release partial fixity. Release partial fixity. By choosing this option, we can able to convert the fixed support into simply supported by releasing the moments. Okay, by releasing the moment, because as we know, at the simply supported beam, the support is the moment at the support will be 0. The maximum support moment will be at the midspan. Okay, WL square by 8. So this is these are the moment as well as the shear force. See, as moment 33 is a moment, a shear 22 is a shear force. So this is the shear force diagram. You can see this for an individual beam by clicking a right click on it. You can see the shear force, moment. If you want to see what are the load which is transferring to the foundation means, you need to choose the reaction. Display support reactions. Okay. So I'm just going to tabulate this. Going to the plan view at the base. Apply. Okay. So see, these are the load which will be transferred from the structure to the foundation. So there is a lead load, but we need combination is the worst condition loads. Okay. So see, as we can see, this column. Okay, this column which carries this foundation will bear more load while comparing to other foundation. See, as per the result, the FZ is 1203. So this footing will carry a more load, right? This is 1039. While comparing with this, the number 16 column will carry a lesser load. Okay, this is what I already said as per in tributary area method. See, this is the tributary area. So this is the hatching area. You can able to see that this green hatching area. These are the loads which are going to transfer to the column C1. So as you can see, this is the C1. This is the maximum load 1203. See, so based upon this, if you know about the tributary area method, one of the assumption, this is the assumption method, this is not an accurate method, but we can able to predict what will be the column size before analyzing it into ETABS or manual design. Okay, now you have some a small idea about fixing your size of your column. Okay, because we right now by using the tributary area, we know that this column will carry more load while comparing with other columns. See, this is the hatching area for this column, C5 column, which bear only the load from this area. For this area, see, the C4 also having the more load while comparing with C5. Let me check. Yeah, see, 1841. This is the major area. See, while comparing with this is the major area. Okay, and then C3. C3 is the lesser load. And these are, see, this is the very smallest load. Okay, C11. So we just predicted it by using, we can predict these loads, which will be maximum or lower by using this tributary area method. In future, I mean, in our course sessions, we are going to discuss how to calculate the load by using tributary area method by manually, and we're going to compare it with ETABS, and we are going to compare these results, the manual as well as the ETABS, so that we can able to know ETABS is working, you're providing a proper result or not. Okay, and then we can this is after analyzing this, we are simply able to design this by clicking a single button. See, a concrete frame design by giving some preliminary predominant things as an input. After designing, the ETABS will also give a detailed report. So detailing for a frame section, not an entire frame, a detailing for a beam and column. Okay, not for a slab. So in order to create a detailing for slab, we need to go with the SAP 2014, or otherwise in the previous version, that is ETABS 2016 will provide by default it will providing a slab design. In our course, we will also see that slab detailing also. So right now I'm having the detailing with me for another structure. So this is what the ETAB will provide by a simple click. If you're having a headroom, terrace floor, see from here, ground floor, first floor, second floor, it will provide the AutoCAD. It will provide the detailing in an AutoCAD format. Okay, you just want to do, what you do is simply edit the data and give it to a client. Okay, so see, these are not created by myself. These are created by ETABS. Okay, so this is all the detailing which will be provided by ETABS, not by me. Okay, by clicking a simple button, concrete frame design, and also we need for a detailing purpose, we need a CSI detailing plugin. That is not an extra software, there is an extra plugin. You need to download that for detailing these and structures like this. Okay, so hope you can able to I know very well you are not have any clear idea about ETABS, but I'm sure you may have a small idea, a better idea about what ETAB will do, what are the things we are going to do with ETABS. And in this entire session, entire course, we are going to start with the basic, that is a normal shear force bending moment for the beam, a cantilever beam, a overhanging beam, because these are the preliminary things. Okay, and we are along with the analysis of the water tank and the analysis and design, analysis of steel frame stresses and the multi-story building. Okay, for n number of buildings we can able to create, and we apply the dead load as well as the live load, superimposed dead load, and also importantly earthquake load, and also the wind load as per the codal provision. And in this entire session, I'm not going to give any data by my assumption. if I'm just providing you a single data means it will be taken from an IS codal provision, not by my own, not by the experience. But I will, by my experience, I will suggest something. Okay, but each and every data will be based upon purely an IS standard codal provision. I will show each and every data. I will show everything. I will provide you some Excel sheets as well as the codes. What I'm showing right here, I will at the end of the session, I will provide you. You can able to you can make use of that, and you can study, you can learn everything by this entire session. So hope you can understand this. So someone is asking, sir, how can we estimate steel consumption for column and beam? So we can use some other software like Revit, the software, or you can simply use the bar bending schedule procedure for calculating, because right now you can, by detailing right here, you can know what are the number of rods we need for the structure by after this process. Okay, so you can use the bar bending schedule, or otherwise Revit structures for detailing purpose. We can simply import this values into the Revit. Okay. How can we say whether joint is fixed or hinged, please? Yeah, we will discuss it in detail. Okay, what is the main difference between hinged, fixed, roller, and a cantilever in detail? Okay, in our future session, because our time is 8 to 9, we already exceed our time limit. So we will discuss it in our session. Which is the best to learn first? Start for ETABS. I will always recommend you to learn ETABS. So it is purely based upon the, first of all, the ETABS is a three-dimensional software. You can able to see each and everything in a 3D view. Okay, but in Start Pro you can't able to see nothing in 3D view. Okay, only you can able to do in a 2D view only. So it will be very much useful for you. If you are a beginner, you can start your structural training with ETABS. I will recommend you just start with ETABS. Yeah, if someone is asking, sir, we just not even choose any rebar size and numbers. We will choose the rebar size. We will choose the what is the size we are going to use at this option. See, right here we can choose the rebar section rule, rebar section for column. By providing this data, the detailing will be done based upon these rules. Okay, so that we can easily calculated whatever thing will be done. Okay, and also we need to edit. We're not going to directly take these result and going to submit to the client. We are going to manipulate it. We are based upon the area or what we have having in the manual calculation, and also we will provide you some Excel sheets. Okay, so that you can able to that. Okay. Sir, I'm just pursuing second year of civil engineering at this stage. This is useful. Yeah, this is very much useful for you, because in the third year you have some design project, and you have some for the design project. This software will be very much useful for you in your college side. You can provide in your project, in your learned in this course, you will be submitted to the project. That is your entire project for your undergraduate degree. Okay. Okay, someone is asking, sir, kindly mention the ETAB version of using to install on the system. Yeah, I will recommend you to install ETAB. If you use the student version, means it will be by default, you can able to install ETAB 19 version. That is the latest version. But I will teach you by using the ETAB 16, because what I said is in ETAB 6 until ETAB 16, the detailing will be inbuilt with the software itself. So see, there is an option analyze, display, design, and then we have an option called detailing up to the version 16. After 16, the detailing will be done by using a individual software. Okay, from the 17, 18, 19 also, we are using an individual. For 17, we are using some plugin for detailing. For 18 and 19, we are using separate software for detailing purpose. So I will recommend you, if you have an original software, a lower version means you just go with ETAP 16. For a beginner, it will be very useful for you for designing as well as detailing in a single package. Okay. So hope I just answered all your questions. If you have any more questions, you can ask. I'm ready to eagerly ready to answer all your questions. So hope I just answered everything. So yeah. So download option. Yes, I already said that you can Google it. CSI America. CSI America. That is the provider, the software provider of eTabs. You can visit that website. You can download that software by the student software original version to your system. We not even recommend any pirated softwares. Okay, by using the original software provided by the company CSI America, you can download it. We just provided the group link for the course info as well as the course registration link in the Zoom chat box. You can go through it. If the course detail, the course schedule, and the course fee structures. Okay, once you go through the info, you can able to get the course curriculum. What are the things you're going to learn from this entire 30 days? Okay, because see, in this amount, now no one will give you the 30 days training. Okay, they will provide you a 5-day training, the 10-day training like that. But we will give you a one-to-one live session for the entire 30 days so that you can learn everything what I have learned. Okay, you can easily learn everything. So I hope much useful for you. So thank you so much. Thank you once again. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
Hello. Hello, sir.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, yes.